It's a wedding or Mother's Day, and our next guest is going to show us how we can preserve those beautiful bouquets to use as decorative centerpieces. With me now is Sallie Strauss from Activa. Sallie, I'm so glad that you could come.
Thank you, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here.
I understand that you're going to show us about this beautiful wedding bouquet.
Yes, I would like to show you using flower drying art silica gel, how one preserves a wedding bouquet, and then I'm going to introduce you to another exciting product, Forever Natural, which preserves green leaves and foliage. And first, I think let's just take one flower and show you the steps from beginning to end.
Please do.
You take your fresh flower, and it must be fresh. Mm-hmm. You're going to cut the stem off and insert it in a microwave-safe container. Mm-hmm. In about 1.5 inches of silica gel. Then slowly cover your flower. You want to be very careful. You don't really want to dump it from the can because that can crush petals. So if you'll gently shake it and cover it completely. And in a microwave, your drying time is 1 to 3 minutes.
Now that's certainly a lot faster than what we're used to in drying flowers.
It is. The conventional method is 7 to 10 days. So you
That's
see the
wonderful.
drying process is lessened. Once it is dry and the silica gel has cooled, you very slowly with the paintbrush brush away the silica. Mm-hmm. You take your flower out, and if there is any residue still on the flower, mm-hmm. you very gently brush it, and it will come right off. There is one thing. You've no stem. What do you do?
That's right. We cut them off very short.
Yes. You can dry the stem and rewire the stem, or if you choose not to do that, use florist wire. And with florist tape, you make a new stem.
Well, that's easy enough.
That is very easy.
Now, all of this information is in your magical microwave book.
Yes.
That has all the uses for silica gel and all of the drying times and everything appropriate for each flower. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. There's a table that tells you the specific amount of time for each flower.
Now, one question that comes to my mind, can we dry all different types of flowers at the same time?
It is better if you not do it. If you're drying roses, dry all roses, or dry all pansies or orchids. You should not mix them because obviously each one has a different drying time.
Okay. Now I see that you've used these dried flowers in lots of different ways, not just putting together the wedding bouquet again, I guess you just copied the original bouquet, but also by framing them. And then this is certainly a new wrinkle down here. Tell me about that.
That, if you're having a luncheon, it could be for a bridesmaid's luncheon, it could be a Mother's Day, any occasion. Mm-hmm. You use dried flowers as a napkin ring, and with something of that size, you really don't necessarily need another huge centerpiece.
It is
so it's
beautiful.
A nice way with the tapestry ribbon. It adds a nice touch.
Okay, so now when we're done drying flowers, we're going to preserve greenery.
You're going to need some background foliage and filler material. How do you get that? With Forever Natural Foliage Preserver. Okay. And this is a liquid that you heat to about 130 degrees. Mm-hmm. And you add this, you take your fresh green plant material, mm-hmm. and if you're going to do individual stems and leaves, you put it in a container because it's warm, so I mm-hmm. generally suggest, some sort of a heat-proof container. Mm-hmm. And you want to cover the foliage with the Forever Natural. Okay. Now, please make certain that it is totally submerged. Mm-hmm. So if a leaf floats, and I purposely left this ivy leaf, mm-hmm. What you will want to do is to get a glass jar, or you could use a plate or something, and you want to weight your foliage down, okay. so that it stays underneath.
And this is just all going to stay green forever and ever.
It will become very soft and very supple, and here is an example, Susan, of an ivy leaf. And you can see
lovely.
It feels like a lady's kid glove. It will never dry or crack, and they are cured in 7 days to 3 weeks.
Well, can I do it all on one stem, or do I have to do each leaf at a time?
No, you can do stemmed material, just crush it and put it in the Forever Natural, the stem, and it works beautifully.
Isn't that wonderful? Sallie, thank you so much for coming in. You've really brought us a lot of wonderful ways to use and preserve flowers.
Thank you for having me.